and hello, this video was requested by Yuki Akuma. I will be leaving their, channel, link in the description. Go check them out. Hi everyone, today we will be, learning how to add keyframes, pivot points, and moving layers. Right now, we're gonna learn how to add and control pivot points. In order to get into the pivot point mode, you're going to have to click on this button with 4 arrows to control the pivot point. Where do you put the pivot point, you may ask? Good question. You move it towards wherever the joint is. For example, the arm moves through the shoulder, so then you would set the pivot point in the shoulder area. As you can see, the arm is moving where the shoulder joint should be in a human body. Now, what if I were to set the pivot point at the hand? Would it still rotate at the shoulder? The answer is no. The joint would be at the hand, which would change how it rotates. You can see the example in the footage. Now that we got the pivot points out of the way, I'm just gonna cross it out. Now, we are going to learn how to use and add keyframes. This diamond-shaped button is what you use to either add or remove the keyframes. In order to actually give movement to whatever you want to rotate or move, you have to have 2 keyframes. The placement really depends on when you want it to move. The next step to moving whatever you want to move is that you have to go into the second keyframe and then rotate and/or drag with the keypad. If you want to rotate the head multiple times in the circle, then you just do what I did here. You see how my head moved? Yes, I know, it looks really robotic. However, you can solve this using graphs. When you tilt the top circle, it snaps back quickly. Example in the background. Right now I'm just looking through the 4 options within the second button, so you can just skip through that if you want. Now we're going to be discussing about how to adjust the layer orders and positions. So you see those 3 bars? Yeah, you need to press and hold them down, then you can scroll up or down depending on what layer you want it on. You can also change the position of where it starts and ends by holding the layer down and dragging it left and right. Just like how we move the pivot points, you're going to have to drag your finger or whatever you're using on this pad to move the head around. The graphs still work the same. Okay, so here's the screen button at the top of the screen you use to export it. If you use any membership thing, aka most graphs, then you have to launch an ad,